All right, well, good evening, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to our 13th Community Advisory Team meeting for the Greater Lyttonsville Woodside communities. This meeting is being recorded, and it will be posted to our website, purplelinemd.com, along with the other supporting project materials after the meeting this week. We ask that you please keep your microphones muted and cameras off during the presentation, and please hold all your questions until after the presentation during the Q&A session. We also ask that you please limit your questions and comments to 1 minute. For those of you that would like a live translation for tonight's meeting, you can see that in the Teams format, and it'll translate the meeting live. So instructions for how to turn those translation functions on will now be given by our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, next slide. All right, so tonight we're going to be doing staff introductions. We'll do a project status video. We're going to talk construction updates, work completed, progress photos, and our upcoming work. We'll touch a little bit on community engagement, and then we'll get to the Q&A. Tonight, you'll be hearing from Ray Biggs II, our Senior Project Director from MTA, John Undelin from Purple Line Transit Partners, Hugo Fontieres, our Project Executive with MTS, myself, Carla Julian, Mike Edelin, who's our Construction Segment Lead for these areas, Matt Prippett, she's going to talk a little bit about our systems, and other team members. So next slide, please. The stations we're going to touch on tonight are Lyttonsville and the 16th Street Woodside stations. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ray Biggs to introduce the fall progress video.
All right. Thank you, Carla and Stephanie. Welcome again, everyone, tonight. We're so excited to have you join us tonight to show some of the progress that we've made over this summer. So let's check out the progress video highlighting the Purple Line momentum. Chris, let's play the video. Welcome to our Fall Progress Update video for 2024. We are here on Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, where we recently completed a lot of our summer construction work that completed the track installation all along Campus Drive. We are so excited that we have 5 light rail vehicles at our operations and maintenance facility, and we also completed 10 miles of track across the alignment. I also mentioned that we have over 17 miles of sidewalk that have been installed. Additionally, you can see the colorful canopies that are right behind me, and we have 19 stations that will be in construction by the end of this year. And we are so excited that we are moving forward, completing the momentum on the project, and continuing that going forward.
Crews have focused on many specific areas to minimize impacts and advance the project. In Prince George's County, crews prepare for track placement by establishing work zones in the center of University Boulevard. Traffic is shifted to the newly completed sections on either side of the road. At the University of Maryland, crews have successfully completed much of the heavy construction through the center of campus. This year, students arrived to find newly completed sidewalks, embedded tracks, paved roadways, and all lanes open on Campus Drive. Also in Prince George's County, crews opened 2 new roads, 64th Avenue and Mustang Drive. Both connect communities to Riverdale Road at signalized intersections. The flyover bridge from Kenilworth Avenue over East-West Highway has also been completed. Track crews completed the crossing of River Tech Court and opened the road 3 weeks ahead of schedule. At the operations and maintenance facility, the new light rail vehicles are being prepared for testing.
I am honored and thrilled to stand here today at our operations and maintenance facility in front of this. Maryland, we have a train.
Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold, administrator of the MTA, and I am so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the arrival of the first of the Purple Line light rail vehicle. I want to do, huge congratulations to the Purple Line team. This team does not sleep. They are working all the time to deliver the Purple Line for Maryland, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them.
These vehicles are 142 feet long. That's nearly half of a football field, almost twice the size of a metro vehicle, and will be the longest light rail in North America. It'll hold up to 430 passengers. There will be 8 bike racks on board, as well as 8 dedicated wheelchair spaces accessible near the doors. These electric-powered LRVs will reduce energy and carbon emissions, as well as being quieter than other modes of transportation.
Over the summer, we worked very closely with our partners at CSX, WMATA, Montgomery County Parks, and Montgomery County Schools to complete a lot of construction work and installing track all across the alignment.
In Montgomery County, the Purple Line has successfully placed both sets of tracks across the Wayne Avenue and Dale Drive intersection prior to the start of the school year. They have also installed the complex curved track at Piney Branch Road and University Boulevard, and fully opened the Talbot Avenue Bridge. At the Silver Spring Transit Center, the LRV bridge over Colesville Road and the foundations and superstructure for the new mezzanine are taking shape. Crews also started the work to build a new and improved Spring Street Bridge by completing the bridge demolition during the WMATA summer shutdown. Station construction can be seen across the whole alignment, with station after station taking shape. The highlight of the station construction is the installation of the first Art in Transit artwork element at the Campus Drive UMD station. The artists at Legg Lewis Legg added a beautiful display of color that changes throughout the day and is a shining example of things to come at the Purple Line.
Thank you again for your patience, and while we continue construction, we are going to keep the momentum up across the alignment, moving from laying track into the testing phase of the light rail vehicles across the alignment. We are so excited about the Purple Line, and we know you are too. Thank you.
All right, so that video highlighted a lot of the progress that we had over the summer, and still a lot to come over the next months as we go towards revenue service. The next big milestone, as you can see here on the project timeline, is actually beginning our testing. Later this year, you'll start to see along Veterans Parkway, light rail vehicles starting to do that dynamic testing, which will be the first of the light rail vehicles testing on the track and on the Purple Line itself. Moving from left to right of the pictures below the timeline in front of you, you see what you saw in the video, the light rail vehicles inside the operation and maintenance facility off of Veterans Parkway in Prince George's County. We now have 5 vehicles, 5 of the 28 that are down here from Elmira, New York. Then moving to the second, you see the overhead catenary system that is being installed along Veterans Parkway. I invite you to take a ride if you hadn't along Veterans Parkway, and you can actually see what the rest of the Purple Line will look like along the route. This gives you an idea of what to expect to come, and also where that test track will be happening later this year. Then those last 2 photos, you saw a lot of video where we collaborated with UMD to be able to shut down Campus Drive over this past summer, then to reopen it just in time for school and for the students. And you can see in this picture in the third one, the bus riding up Campus Drive. That's because Campus Drive is open to traffic and those canopies are up, and we're just excited that that is there and working with University of Maryland. So I won't hold you any longer. We'll jump into the updates in particular for this area. So bringing on the construction team. Scott, you can take it away.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here. Rock Creek, that's kind of the start of this area. We've been working at Rock Creek the last 6 months quite a bit. We completed the removal of the old bridge there. We completed restoration of the stream and the west bank slope, and we'll be moving on to the east bank slope as we work towards the trail connection construction over the next few months. We started some of the walls for that trail connection recently, and we'll be making that whole and setting the Rock Creek Bridge. I think that's on the next slide. Yeah, Rock Creek Bridge over CCT. In the Lyttonsville yard area, yeah, next slide. The Lyttonsville yard area, which is just up the alignment from there. Well, we've been continuing with retaining wall construction, stormwater management facilities, installation of the overhead catenary foundations. We completed those in the yard over the summer. And we began construction of the operations and maintenance facility number 2, which is in Lyttonsville yard as well. Upcoming, we're going to be moving into the track work and completing the stormwater facilities and the rest of the retaining walls. Next. Another element of the Lyttonsville yard area, the traction power substation for the yard itself, that has been set and installed and fit out, and we'll be expecting power to be supplied there and energizing in the next month or so. Lyttonsville Station, just past this area off of Lyttonsville Bridge, we completed the station foundation and stair structure. We're going to be moving on to the platform itself. We be building out the rest of the ramp connection and beginning the wall construction. We have the elevator coming in pretty soon as well. So the station has been moving along and will be taking a lot more shape in the next few months. Next slide. Stewart Avenue, we've done some utility work across the street. We connected the duct bank and some of the beginnings of the other utilities in the stormwater installation. But over the next few months, we'll be moving on to the track work and completing the Stewart Avenue road crossing, which is one of our intersections in this area. I think the next slide is the MOT phasing for that, which we're anticipating to start in the beginning of next year. We have the phase 1 and phase 2, so it'll be still 2 lanes, but alternating one way through the work zone. The railroad corridor along CSX, we continued with some more storm drain installation there and crash wall construction, which is significantly moved along. We have the OCS foundations, which started in this area, installation of the vibration slab and track drainage, and moving on into the track installation. Very shortly, we'll have track moving in between Stewart Avenue up towards Talbot and then along towards 16th Street. Next slide. Capitol Crescent Trail, which in this section of the job is on the opposite side of the tracks over by Bollard Street and Grace Church Road, that area. We began the grubbing and preparations for the trail foundations, and we'll be moving on to the placement of stormwater facilities and the construction of the walls and the trail proper itself very shortly. Specific to Rosemary Hills Elementary School and the Talbot Avenue, we completed the installation of fencing on top of the retaining walls, and we'll be wrapping up the permanent stairs and final landscaping by the school upcoming very soon. The school, most likely in the school holidays. Next slide. 16th Street and Woodside, which is along 16th Street and East-West Highway area. We started the crash wall installation in this area also. We are working on the retaining walls and moving on to some of the remaining drainage work in this area. There's quite a bit that's already constructed, and there's a few more connections to wrap up the area. We'll be starting on the Capitol Crescent Trail on the north side, which was on the previous slide also. So that trail runs again from Talbot all the way up to Silver Spring on that side of the tracks. Spring Street Bridge, we completed the demolition that was in the video across WMATA and CSX during the shutdown, and starting the piling and foundation work and the power relocation. The main holdup with this area has been getting the Pepco power switched over to a temporary location to allow for the cranes and the overhead access for the new construction work. So the power has been switched over, and that was in the past couple weeks. We'll be able to move the rest of the lines in a much quicker way and move on to the rest of the construction. Next slide. The detour, which is for the Spring Street Bridge being closed, will be in place through the end of the year, and you can see on the slide where that goes around through to Colesville Road and Georgia Avenue, 16th Street itself. Systems testing, I think that's Matt that's taking over.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we'll touch base on a couple updates for the systems, and most specifically, the exciting news that we will be starting to dynamically test our LRVs this fall. The test track, as shown here on the map, is along Veterans Parkway 410 between Riverdale and Annapolis roads. It's approximately 1 mile. And this section of track is segregated from the roadway, and makes a perfect place to test these vehicles. Couple of the things that we will be doing as we start testing these new vehicles is braking, propulsion, acceleration, performance tests, and safety testing for these vehicles. Basically, a proof of design for the systems. Here's a good view with the overhead catenary installed on the test track, ready for this testing. In addition to the performance of the vehicles, some of the automatic vehicle location, emergency communication systems also will be tested. We've also been undertaking training with the first responders, fire, police, etc., making sure everybody's up to speed on the new system and the new equipment, and prepared to respond to any incidents as we approach testing here and other locations on the job and going into revenue service. Of course, our operations team has begun their testing, their training, and will be continuing training for their operators of the trains during this testing. And one of the more important parts to talk about is the safety. This dedicated alignment we're using does not have public access and does not have any roadway crossings or interactions with motorists at this stage. And our vehicles, our test track is equipped with state-of-the-art overrun protection, which does provide redundancy should there be any failure from the operator side. The trains will automatically stop in safe positions. As mentioned previously, we do have 5 light rail vehicles on the project now in our Glen Ridge operations and maintenance facility. The track work is built, tamped. We have inspections and final testings underway for this test track to get going. Our traction power substations that will power this section are installed and tested. Wrapping up the power cable connections is happening right now. And the testing for the overhead catenary you saw in that prior picture is underway. So back to the safety topic. As a general note, please please do not stop or enter the right of way when trains are being tested. This area is, as I mentioned, segregated, but we appreciate everybody's awareness and cooperation. We all understand it's pretty exciting to see these Purple Line trains moving, but we ask that everybody respect those operational areas. Yep. I will pass it back off to Carla.
Matt. Next slide, please. So we do like to be out and about in the community, and we were very happy to be able to work with this community and open the Talbot Avenue Bridge. Next slide. We are involved in many community events around the alignment. So if you have events you'd like us to get involved with, please let us know. And as always, you can reach the team at outreach at purplelinemd.com. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Undelin with PLTP.
Thank you, Carla. Hello, everyone. Well, you just heard from Matt about safety at our test track and the trains, but of course, we really want to make sure that everyone traveling in the Purple Line corridor around our tracks need to be safe. And that's why I'm here to talk about bike, scooter, and skateboard safety. If you're on one of those vehicles with the smaller, thinner wheels, you really do need to be careful as you cross the tracks. And you heard in the video, Ray talk about, we just put down more than 10 miles of track throughout the corridor, and Scott just talked about here at Lyttonsville, Woodside. It's really important that the best way to cross the tracks is perpendicular, so you don't accidentally get your wheel caught in the channel of the track. Also, as we're now entering fall and winter's foul weather season, if you're in a car or a truck, it's important to be extra careful when traveling over the steel tracks, as they can be slick when they're wet. Next slide. Something we're really excited about talking about always is our Beyond the Rails community grant program. Every half year, we're awarding 6 grants to neighborhood community groups that are doing good along the alignment. We've enjoyed visiting with many of the award winners, and in the photo here, you see we're presenting to these Silver Spring International Middle School and Sligo Creek Elementary School's shared outdoor classroom program, which is a really neat program. We've really enjoyed getting out to the community groups and seeing what they're doing with our grant funding and improving our community. So you see the parameters of the program here. We're putting the word out now. If you have a group or cause that would fit our criteria of improving the community, improving the environment, by all means, we highly encourage you to submit an application. Our deadline is November 30th. It's just a simple 2-page application. And if you've got any questions about the program or need help in applying, we're here to help you with that. So you just go shoot us an email at grants@purplelinepartners.com. There's more information on the website. Just go to Purple Line MD, and under resources, you'll see our program written up there. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Ray to talk more about our new and improved website. Ray.
Thank you, John. As you can see here, we've refreshed our Purple Line website over the summer, which includes a lot more information that gives you details about what's happening on the project. In particular, if you look at the yellow square or rectangle that you see on your screen here, when you visit the website, you can now click on a interactive map that allows you to see what the details are for the detours or any upcoming construction is happening in your particular areas around the stations along the Purple Line corridor. There's also a map in there where you can click on the stations and see what the artistic renderings look like for each of the stations, and also the artist designs that will be at each of the stations. This gives you an idea of how the Purple Line will intertwine with your neighborhoods and with the other local services in the area, allowing you to get a feel for the Purple Line virtually as we build the Purple Line to eventually be able to ride the Purple Line. So we have it both in the desktop form and the mobile form, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That makes it easy for you to access it. We go to the next slide. One thing that we wanted to also remind you of, if you have any questions at any time, you can reach us at outreach@purplelinemd.com by emailing us or giving us a call. We have both the English and the Spanish lines where we will respond and a person will pick up the phone. And we will respond as quick as possible to any inquiries that come in. Media, we also have an email for you if you have any questions or comments or anything that you would like from the Purple Line. We also invite you to follow us at Purple Line MD across all the social media platforms. We are on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. And there you can get some quick updates on what's happening on the Purple Line, to include construction updates, any events we may be at, or any meetings that are happening, and any other things that are happening that relates to the Purple Line in and around the area surrounding the alignment. So we encourage you to look for that, and to also sign up for our newsletter, which just came out today, that has some valuable information in there for you, giving you some details of construction, learning a little bit about the people that are building the Purple Line and businesses along the corridor, and some other updates of what's happening regarding the Purple Line and how we're moving forward with it. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Carla, who will begin the question and answer session.
Thanks, Ray. So feel free to put questions in the chat and raise your hand through the hand emoji up at the top. And if you are not asking a question, please continue to keep your mute on and your cameras off. So with that, I will go to chat, and you can feel free to raise your hands if you would like to speak. First question in the chat is, what is the schedule for Spring Street Bridge completion? Sounds like more than the end of December. Mike, I don't know if you can come speak to that.
I can, it's Scott, I can speak to that.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
We will be continuing the bridge construction through December. It will run into January, February of the spring. And we have right now, we're moving into the stage of the foundations. And once we, start to bring the structure out of the ground and these aerial lines are relocated, the superstructure erection will progress much more rapidly.
Thank you. Does anybody else have questions they want to raise their hand for or put in the chat? Okay, next one from Christina Perez. How will the track work on Stewart Avenue be put in place?
It's not construction.
Yeah, the track work's going to be in two phases. We have the MOT. The slide that showed that is for one of the two phases. It goes halfway across the street, and then there's another phase that's the other half. And in both of those arrangements, there'll be a stop sign and alternating one-way traffic for the people to get by the work zone.
Mike, can you also talk about how long it'll take to put that in place, what the impacts for time are there? Roughly?
It's a couple months total. I mean, between both phases.
Thank you. Next question from Webb Smedley. Will the Spring Street Bridge work require an additional Metro Rail shutdown?
No, it will not. We're going to do the remaining work with the daily outages that we have with the railroads. So there's no other planned shutdown to finish that. We did the primary work, which was the demo during the summer.
All right, thanks, Matt. I see Pat Tyson, you have your hand up. What is your question?
Hi, Carla. I'm glad to see you're still with them, and things are moving along. Someone had asked me a question the first of the week, and I didn't know the answer, so I was trying to reach I know it was too late for the, to put something in to ask a question. So I was trying to reach Mr. Witherspoon, but I never did. I never was able to get to him. So I just with the question that I was asked, because I didn't, I don't know anything about that area down there on Stewart, where the crossing will be. What will something the crossing will be for people going to the commercial area, right? Is that it? Coming down
The
Stewart
track
Avenue?
crossing?
Yes, coming down Stewart Avenue. So that there will be an area there that will protect people from being on the track when the train is coming by, right?
Right. In the final configuration, of course, the first stage is just getting the tracks across the road, and you'll be driving over it with no lights or anything because until we eventually have trains running. But at some point when the trains are running, yeah, there's gates that will come down when the trains, and there's a light, and it's sequenced for the train passing so that people will stop on either side like any other road crossing.
Okay. Because I was asked, but I said, as I said, I didn't know anything about that area except I knew that there would have to be something going on down there. Is that the only thing going on down in that area? Is the train and the track and the crossing? Is there anything else being put down in that area? Oh, something he asked me too about storm water.
Who asked?
Um,
Who's he?
Well, our neighbor over in Roseburg, who's Roger.
Well, yeah, there's like a lot in that area, and then at some point, I'm not sure if that goes over to the Parks Department or.
Okay, so
I think the question was who's going to be responsible for maintaining it during construction versus operations.
Maintaining what, the road crossing?
Well, the stormwater management facility.
Well, we'll be maintaining it during construction. It's an underground system, storage of stormwater that's buried under a parking lot sized area.
Well, as things progress, I know we'll be able to see. There's a lot going on because I see trucks on Michigan Avenue going to Talbot Avenue, and I haven't been up there to peek over and see what it is, but I know things are moving along rather rapidly. So I just was, in case someone asked me, I just wanted to be able to say something about, what's going on down in that area again.
I think
right,
those
and
questions.
we are.
Sorry, Mike, just give me a sec. We got those questions through Kate Stewart's office as well from Paul Ellis right before the meeting. So we will include those in the Q&A with more, expanded question and answers that you can share with the community as well.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Is Mr. Witherspoon still with the staff?
He is not with the project anymore, but I think we can definitely get you his contact if you'd like to stay in contact with him.
No, I was just interested if he's not on the project anymore. I wouldn't.
He's not with the project team any longer. He moved on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. And I see in chat here we have a few other details related to the safety crossing at Stewart. What happens when the train pass? How loud will the horns be? And what kind of lights will be flashed? I don't know if Ray, we want to speak to that any further or answer that, more fully in the Q&A later.
I think we can provide more of a detailed answer in the Q&A on later on that piece, because we really need to get into the details of how loud the horns are.
Okay. We'll provide more detail in the Q&A, guys, for that. I think, Joel, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. I noticed on the map that the streets was wrong places. Like the it didn't say Manchester Lyttonsville Place. It's something else like towards Stewart Avenue. And I did see the building from Forest Glen Annex for Dietrich. I'm kind of confused about the street. I think it's more closer to the bridge. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Joel.
All right,
We'll definitely take a look at the map and make sure that everything's showing correctly for you there. Back to you, Carla. I think we may have another question.
Yep, there's one other question in chat from Webb. When will retaining walls be constructed between 16th Street and Spring Street?
Between 16th Street and Spring Street along the Purple Line area, that work has been ongoing and will be wrapping up. What's that?
No, go ahead. Specifically along the Capitol Crescent Trail.
Oh, the trail side, yeah. That there'll be some walls going up very soon. We had some conflicts of elevations and things like that, so we were mobilizing there, and we have the materials to start the wall, but there was some design questions, but that'll be starting very soon.
See, Barbara has a question about the access ramp between 16th and 3rd Avenue. When will that be constructed? Is that the right question, Barbara? Yes. Mike, I don't know if you have those details.
Well, that
right
will be
now.
along the same thing. I mean, the work's going to start in the coming weeks and into the next month, and then the access ramp will be probably one of the last parts of the wall that connects up to the bridge. So that section may be months away, but the general scope will be starting soon. But that's all part of the same area.
Okay. And hi, Hillary. I think Hillary has a question. Between Woodside and Lyttonsville, is the trail on the south or west side of the Purple Line rail, or on the north side? Where will there be entry points to access the trail?
Well, it's on the north side up to Talbot Avenue, and then after Talbot Avenue Bridge, it goes back to the south side down towards Lyttonsville Bridge and towards Rock Creek. It's all next to the Purple Line in that whole section. There's an access at Lyttonsville Bridge itself. There's that ramp that we talked about as part of the station. That's one of the ramp accesses. There's a access up by Michigan Avenue and Lanier in that area. Of course, it goes along Talbot Avenue itself, so it's right there on the sidewalk up towards the road crossing. And then some of the other ones that were mentioned already, 16th Street, there's a ramp and staircases, and then Spring Street, there's similar things to get off onto the side roads. And even I believe there's a ramp access down through between along 3rd Avenue, Grace Church Road, and the next road over. So I probably missed a couple of them, but there's some every few blocks or so.
Hillary, we also have a map graphic that we can share with you that we can put in the Q&A that details all of that, so you can see where they are too. All right, does anybody else have any other questions? Anybody want to raise their hand or put anything in chat? All right, I'm going one more time. Okay, well, if nobody has any further questions, thank you guys for attending. Did I hear somebody have a question? All right, I see one more from Barbara. She's clarifying. So it's really going to be March for the Spring Street Bridge being completed. Is that safe to say? Scott, Mike?
I missed that question. What was that question? Carl?
Just clarifying that March is really going to be the completion month for the Spring Street Bridge.
Yes, that's accurate.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys so much for attending tonight. We appreciate your time. We're going to put everything in the Q&A with full detail, and enjoy your night, and please reach out if you have additional questions.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
You have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.